Hello and welcome, JCC attendees of Diamonds in the Making. This is Casey Conrad, your favorite trainer, and as promised, I wanted to complete the last few slides of the Diamonds in the Making presentation. So just as a quick recap, we've already talked about leadership mindset, and we specifically outlined beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors. We've talked about core communication skills, and we talked about being safe and timely, your listening skills, your body language, your emotional intelligence, and we talked about talent management. And you might remember we talked about recruitment, then development, then it was performance, and finally retention of employees. So the fourth area is change management. And you know what? The only thing we can be absolutely certain of is change, right? I mean, I know we've heard that plenty of times, but isn't it true? So successfully managing change is critical because the reality is that most people don't like change. Even though it's the only thing we could be certain of, they hate it. Now, some people, of course, are more adverse to change than others, and that's going to be reflected in your management style. So you've got to make sure that you've got an approach that is going to implement changes effectively but also efficiently. So what are some of the skills? First of all, planning. You've got to know how to organize things. People like me are totally spontaneous ADD types, and I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. But the reality is that people who are adverse to change, this freaks them out. So you've got to really work on your organizational skills and make sure that you don't move forward until you've got a plan in place. Resilience, right? That's another thing, because you are going to be fighting an uphill battle with a lot of people, particularly in a nonprofit organization. So you're either going to have the change win over the people, or the people win over the attempted change. And this happens a lot when you come back from conventions. You come back with all these great ideas and you're fired up and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And basically, the people that have been around the longest, they look around and they say to the other employees, don't worry about it, in 3 months it'll all go back to normal. And the question becomes, will you actually have the resilience to push through that and make sure that you, in fact, implement the change? Which is why you want to do things, of course, very slowly. You don't want to try to change too many things at once. And, of course, trust, right? If your employees don't trust you, they absolutely won't follow you. And this applies not just to change, but leadership in general. So you want to be super mindful of that. Politics. Hey, you know what? Remember, you're stuck in the middle. You got to keep both sides happy. You've got to keep those frontline employees happy, but you also have to keep management happy. And that means sometimes you got to do the dance, right? And I'm not really good at this, which is probably why I never stayed in management. I just started my own company. But it is something that you've got to get good at. Of course, clarity. This is critically important because people will always misinterpret what you say. So you have to get good at not talking gray. Say what you mean and mean what you say, and of course follow through with that. That goes back with that resilience and patience. My grandmother, every time someone says to me, think or have patience, I replay in my brain her saying, which some of you won't find funny. She said, patience is a virtue, possess it if you can, seldom found in woman, but never found in man. And, that may or may not be true, but look, change takes time. And for you type A people, this is the most difficult thing, is working with people and having the patience to coach them through the change. And some of you are going to be better at this than others. So what's your grade as it comes to change management? What are your personal beliefs around change? Are you the type of person who likes change or doesn't like change? Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10, right? And know this, you will project your beliefs on the rest of your team. So if you're the type of person who's like, I hate change, well, guess what? Your team is going to pick up on that. So you have to be really careful, right? Because that is absolutely, those beliefs, the attitudes, and then of course your behaviors, what we talked about in the leadership mindset, flow down into this change management. And ask yourself, well, what aspects of change management could I improve upon most? Maybe it's the resilience, maybe it's the patience, maybe it's gaining trust. I don't know what it is for you, but these are the elements that are going to allow you to effectively move mountains of change within your department. So you are a diamond in the making, as is your team members. And when you think about the skills and the components that we've talked about in this program, you've got to really go back and work on each of those. And you've got to know that, hey, diamonds are made under extreme pressure. And so when you're looking at these situations and they're stressful, or you're having a bad day about them, just remember, hey, I'm making diamonds here, and the value of diamonds is great. It's worth taking the time and the effort to make a team of diamonds. And look, my goal for you is to become a shining example of management within your association. And that's going to happen by taking the opportunity to use each of the situations that we talked about in our seminar to make you better. And I always say my life mantra is bitter or better. And truly, it is the one mantra that I live by, both professionally and personally. Anytime any situation comes my way that is less than favorable, I say, hey, is this going to make me better or bitter? And when I look around and I see people who are bitter in their lifetime, I say to myself, I do not want to be like that. I do not want people to see me like that. I want them to see me better. So I hope that you have enjoyed the time that we spent together at the conference, and that you are forgiving of my inability to manage my time and think that I had an extra 30 minutes or whatever it was of the presentation, and that you've enjoyed me wrapping it up virtually with you. If you have any questions, of course, you can reach out to me at caseyshealthclubtraining@yahoo.com. I hope the rest of your convention was fantastic, and that you came back to your facilities refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready to start implementing what you learned. Best of luck, and I'll see you at the next convention.